You're abusing me right now.
No, we're not.
Yes, you are. You're abusing me now, Sergeant. Get off my trousers. You're putting your hands down my trousers, man. You just put your hands down my trousers.
Welcome to Noxium, where police power meets public accountability.
This episode is brought to you by Bear Britain Audit. Be sure to check the link below, subscribe to his channel and give him the credit he deserves. In this episode, Bear Britain Audit is simply leaving a shopping centre when he encounters a knife arch positioned directly across his path. He chooses to walk around it, a lawful decision, and that is where the situation begins to escalate. Officers immediately step in, block his route, and insist that he must pass through the arch. When Bear calmly stands his ground and asserts that he is under no obligation to comply, the officers quickly lose patience. The situation escalates into a detention and search, not based on any clear suspicion, but seemingly in response to his refusal. It serves as a clear example of
You need to go through this.
Nah, I don't. I ain't going through it, and you're obstructing my way.
No,
Yes, you are. This is a public footpath.
Why don't you want to go?
Because I don't want to go through it.
Why not?
Because it's not. I don't have to. It's not a legal requirement to go through it, bro.
What's the
I
problem?
don't want to go through it. That's why.
Okay. Well, obviously, refusing to go through the arch builds our suspicion, doesn't it?
No, it doesn't. Oi, listen. You think if I had something on me, yeah, I'm going to be stood here arguing with you? You're an idiot, mate.
No.
You're an idiot.
People do.
You're an absolute idiot.
Okay.
You're an idiot. I ain't going through it. Move out my way. You're in my way.
No.
You're in my way.
the arch, please.
I'll stand here all day then. I'll wait until you go.
Well, you can stand there all day.
Yeah. Does it make you feel big, does it? Powerful?
No, I'm just doing my job.
No,
Okay.
you're not doing your job,
I am.
man. You're not doing your job.
Stuff like this is aimed to make the community safer, to prevent people from carrying knives and stuff like that. Alright?
Talk shit.
Okay.
You talk shit.
That's exactly what it's for.
You talk shit. Gonna move out my way, please, miss? No.
like we said, it raises suspicions as to why you won't walk through it.
Because I don't get dictated to by you. That's why, yeah? No way, when I'm going about my day, am I being dictated to by you, or him, or him, or him, or her, or him. Not one of you's dictating to me to walk through that piece of shit.
a knife arch does not transform a public footpath into a checkpoint that individuals are legally required to submit to. Bear's decision to walk around it is not evasive, it is a lawful exercise of his freedom of movement on public land. The moment the officer states, "If you don't go through it, that raises our suspicion," the underlying issue becomes clear. Suspicion is not meant to be created by refusal. It must exist beforehand, based on observable behavior, not triggered simply because someone declines to engage with a voluntary measure. The justification that it is, for community safety, is a familiar deflection. Community safety does not equate to blanket compliance or automatic submission. If it did, officers could impose any demand and treat refusal as inherently suspicious. That is not how lawful policing operates, and it is not how reasonable suspicion is established.
You can go the long way around.
No, I can't. Oh, right, so if you really think there's suspicion, so if I try and say I'm walking the other way now, you're not going to search me, no?
Don't be for a male officer.
You contradict yourselves, man. You contradict yourselves.
You can be the same for the purpose of search under Section 1 of PACE, alright?
You're searching me?
Yeah, I'm going to search you.
Wow, get
You've been
your
aggressive.
hands off
You've been
me.
aggressive and shouted at me, so I'm going to put you in cuffs for my safety for now.
Are you mad?
Safety, alright?
Are you mad?
Just give me your hand, please.
What the f*** is wrong with you?
Careful your wrist, alright?
Oi, I'm f***ing recording you, you
fine.
silly c***.
Recording. Right. Obviously, you've avoided the knife arch, didn't you?
Well, there's no need to handcuff me like this. I've been stood here how long?
You've avoided the knife arch, didn't you?
Yeah, no, I just don't want to come through it. I just don't want to go through it.
That's perfectly fine. What I'm looking for is any property articles, may have any so-bladed articles, knives.
Do not touch my...
Less of that, alright, mate?
Don't touch my... man.
This is what the officer's telling you.
Listen, bro,
I'm
it's not a
thinking-
legal
I'm thinking-
requirement. You're going to be hearing from my
I'm PC
solicitor.
Edwards, 28212, the collar number.
You're going to be hearing from my solicitor.
Station.
He claims the handcuffs are necessary because Bear is being aggressive and raising his voice, but a raised voice alone does not constitute a safety risk. Handcuffs are not a tool to manage frustration or enforce compliance. They are intended to prevent escape or protect against harm. In this case, Bear is not attempting to flee, is not making threats, and is not displaying any behavior that would reasonably justify physical restraint. The officer then shifts his justification, stating that the search is warranted because Bear avoided the knife arch. That position is even more problematic. Choosing not to pass through a voluntary screening measure does not indicate possession of a weapon. It reflects an individual exercising their right not to comply. Under Section 1 of PACE, a search must be based on reasonable suspicion that a person is carrying prohibited items, not on suspicion manufactured from a refusal to follow an instruction.
What are you doing, man? Pulling my pants down. You're pulling my pants down, man.
Put your pants, stop shouting.
He just pulled my trousers down.
You're searching your pockets, your outer pockets, okay? Don't shout, you're in a public place. And stop being abusive towards the officer.
You're abusing me right now.
No, we're not.
Yes, you are. You're abusing me now, Sergeant.
No, he's not.
Yes, he
No,
is.
he's not.
Look, you ain't gonna find nothing, mate, because I'm not carrying anything. You're putting your hands down my trousers, man. You just put your hands down my trousers. Yes, he did. Just put his hands down my trousers. Yes, he did. Was that really worth it?
Told you what you've been saying.
Nah, you knew, man. If I had something on me, I'm not going to be stood here arguing with a copper, am I? So I don't have to walk through it now, do I?
No, you've been searched. Do you want a copy of
Muppet.
your search?
Nah, do I? Shit.
You don't want a copy of your search?
Huh? Actually, yeah, I do. Gonna need it for my solicitor, ain't I?
No problem.
You'll take your details now and you're entitled to a copy of that.
Nah, you don't need my details for a search. That's untrue.
The constable's conduct is concerning, but the sergeant's role in this situation is even more significant. A senior officer is expected to act as a safeguard, identifying when grounds are insufficient and intervening before powers are misused. Any sergeant with a basic understanding of stop and search standards would recognise that voluntary compliance cannot be converted into compulsory suspicion. The outcome of the search is exactly what the law would anticipate. Nothing is found. No weapon, no prohibited items, and no justification retrospectively established. This is not a matter of chance. It confirms that the original grounds were never valid. When senior officers authorise searches based on refusal rather than evidence, the impact extends beyond a single incident. They contribute to the normalisation of unlawful stop and search practices.
Do not need my details for a search.
So
I like the way you try, though. I like the way you try. It's good, isn't it?
Listen to me. I'm white British. How do you identify yourself as? I'll put not stated down here, alright? It's optional. I know it's optional. Are you going to give your name and date of birth? No? Okay.
You know people don't have to go through here. And then to use Section 1 as pace as your reasonable suspicion is abuse of powers, man. It's abuse of Section 1 of pace, and you know it. You know it as a sergeant. I hope you do as a sergeant anyway. And my solicitor's going to know this, and you're going to be hearing from him.
If you could just move out the way.
Don't tell me where to stand. It's a public. Is this now a private space? I don't care. You're in everyone's way. You're in everyone's way.
Watch out for this man.
Have I got eyes in the back of my head? Would you usually be here telling me to watch everyone behind me? Don't tell me what to do. Do not tell me what to do. Do not tell me what to do, man. Read this.
Hello.
This is where you've messed up today. In general, police cannot compel individuals to walk through a metal detector in a public place.
Okay.
The act of walking through a metal detector is considered a voluntary, and there is no legal basis.
Read the rest.
No legal
Read the rest,
basis for demanding it. However, if the police officer has reasonable suspicion or probable cause to believe a person is carrying a prohibited item, you didn't think I was.
So read the rest then. Carry on reading. I hope your glasses get this, because you're just proving my point right, okay?
How am I
So
proving
have a
yours
good day.
right?
Because exactly what I said
How
to
am
you
I
is exactly
proving
what
your... No, it doesn't.
Exactly
No,
what
it
I said
doesn't.
tried to say to you in there is exactly what you're reading.
Yes, police do have the authority to act when there is reasonable suspicion that an individual is carrying a prohibited item. However, that principle does not apply in this case, because the critical issue is the origin of that suspicion. Here, the officer is treating the refusal to walk through the knife arch as the basis for suspicion. That approach is fundamentally flawed. Voluntary screening cannot be transformed into a mechanism where refusal itself becomes the justification for a compulsory search. Moreover, the provision the officer appears to rely on does not grant the power to compel an individual to pass through a metal detector. It refers to the use of existing lawful search powers, which can only be exercised where genuine and independent grounds already exist. In this instance, there were none. No intelligence, no matching description, no visible indicators such as a concealed item, and no behaviour suggesting wrongdoing. There was simply an individual exercising a lawful choice, which in itself cannot form the basis for reasonable suspicion.
I said I can't force you to go through, but if you don't go
It's
through,
not a legal right.
It raises my suspicion.
No, it doesn't
Believe
raise
you
your
may be carrying
suspicion.
something
So
shouldn't
you know where else you've messed up. You know your female colleague.
Yeah.
She told me if I didn't want to walk through it, that to walk round. So if you really believed,
Okay, well,
no, but you're all stood there together in the same operation.
stood with my colleague.
Yes,
She
you
said
were.
that.
You were
When
all
she-
stood there.
when-
The video's going to show it,
when she
mate.
said that.
When I send
When
this
she
to the
said that.
solicitor, it's going to show it. Yeah.
Okay.
So you have searched me under Section 1 of PACE and abused your powers
Not
today.
at all.
Yes, you
You've
have.
just read it and proved I
Yes,
haven't.
you have.
You've
Yes,
just read
you
it and
have.
proved that I haven't abused my powers.
No, you
And I was
have. It says it
recording
there.
because-
None of your business with this recording. We'll see. We'll see if if I'm right here or
okay.
you are. And I
That's okay.
guarantee my solicitor ties you up in
no problem.
knots.
That's no problem.
Guaranteed.
You're well in your right to do it.
Guaranteed.
That amounts to a clear acknowledgement that the knife arch was voluntary and could be avoided. If officers themselves provide an alternative route, they cannot then treat the choice of that route as suspicious. Permission cannot be granted in one moment and then used as the basis for suspicion in the next. That contradiction exposes the misuse of authority. Reasonable suspicion must exist independently of any instruction given by police. It cannot be created retroactively simply because an individual exercises a lawful option that was made available to them. Once an officer confirms that walking around the arch is acceptable, any subsequent claim that doing so raised suspicion is fundamentally undermined. At that stage, the detention and search are no longer grounded in behaviour, but in an unjustified assertion of authority.
And then I've just literally showed you that you've got no right to do it there without reasonable suspicion.
You showed him, and he's proved.
No, he ain't shown me nothing. He ain't showed me nothing. He's just told me what he thinks.
No, I told you what it
I've
says
just
there.
told you. No, I've just told you. I've just read it out to you. So
Yeah,
don't
you've
make
read it
out.
out.
I've
You've
just read it out
proven
to
me
you.
right, that's all.
No, I haven't. No, I haven't.
We can argue
You can
all day,
agree to
we?
disagree,
So,
can't you? At
there's
the
no
end of the
point.
day, you take it to your solicitor, and that's it, isn't it? We don't need to go round and round this same circle.
Make sure you're not touching nobody else's today
If
or
you-
anybody
you have to
else's.
say that, I'm going to stand here. Can I ask? We're on a public place. If you keep your voice down, don't get shouted.
What?
Because we're on
Is there a law about how loud I speak?
Public order.
What about how loud I speak?
Just keep calm for me. I'll happily chat with you as long as you stay calm.
Go on. You want to mess up again and
Just
go and
saying,
arrest
I'm
me
just
for a
saying,
public
as
order?
long as we're not shouting,
Where's
we're
your
all staying
complainant?
calm.
Has someone come up and complained
As
about
long
my
as we're all staying calm,
conduct?
we'll be fine.
Has anyone come up to you and complained about my conduct?
Okay.
Have you got a complainant? Didn't think so.
Bear does not need to justify his actions, the circumstances speak for themselves. A stop initiated solely because he chose to walk around a knife arch, handcuffs justified on the basis of tone, and a search authorised by a sergeant that ultimately produced nothing. These are not situations forces seek to defend, they are contained. Encounters like this rarely end with an apology at the scene. They conclude later, through legal representation and financial settlement. Looking at the incident as a whole, the failure is clear and consistent. Officers attempted to control movement on a public footpath, offered an alternative route, and then penalised Bear for taking it. When that justification failed, the response escalated, handcuffs applied under the claim of aggression, a search justified by avoidance, and a supervising sergeant who did not intervene at any stage. Each decision was reactive, not based on risk or intelligence, but on non-compliance. The outcome of the search was not an unfortunate result. It confirmed that the encounter lacked evidential grounding from the outset. Framing this within the wider context of knife crime further exposes the weakness of such an approach. Positioning knife arches in public spaces and pressuring compliant individuals to pass through them does little to address actual risk. It creates the appearance of action while failing to target those who pose genuine threats. Effective prevention is targeted, intelligence-led and proportionate, not reliant on turning everyday movement into a measure of obedience. If forces are serious about improving public safety, they must distinguish between visibility and effectiveness. Approaches like this risk eroding public trust without delivering meaningful results. That's it for today's video. If you found this episode informative, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. It genuinely supports continued independent coverage. Also, be sure to check out Bear Britain Audit. His channel is linked in the description. Show your support. Thank you for watching.